Kennedy over here is just like
not doing anything.
he's like, no, please.
Hell no.
All right, so some of you guys might remember how far we got on this last time. The last time we worked on this, we swapped the S65 into the Wagon. So that's all done. But now what we have done in the past 2 days that I haven't recorded because we have been so damn busy, but this is what we've got done. We ripped apart the whole interior, so everything's off. The heater core is out. We got the full interior fully disassembled, and we got into the car, ripped every single trim out of this thing just to run the chassis harness. The issue was removing the heater core to run the harness behind here that goes over there, the junction box there. There are 2 harnesses that goes right there and there that goes into the shock tower. I'll show you guys in a little bit. I think this kind of entails how much work goes into swapping a S65 into another car. Properly, that is, right, Anthony?
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
Instead of just swapping the motor over and wiring it all up, which we probably could have done, right, Anthony?
Yeah.
We probably could have got the car running with the S65 inside of here, but what we wanted to do instead was actually replace every single harness, every single module inside of this car to make it a true M3. So the nice thing about this is that because it's a Wagon and the donor car was an E90, so all the harnesses were the same. We didn't have to delume it and then swap our individual connectors, since there are 4 doors on here. So each connector that goes above here to the door for the rear, for the actuators and window regulator, that's all functional from the E90. So we literally swapped everything over. You know, going into this, I knew this is what we were going to do, and it's nice because, again, the functionality of everything being compatible with each other is going to be very nice. It's going to run like an OEM car, where everything is going to function just like as if it was an E90 inside of E91. There's a lot more that we got to do. So we still got to drop the fuel tank off this car. We still got to drop the rear subframe, swap it over. The front subframe's already swapped. Heat shields we got to swap over. There's still quite a lot, but you think we'll probably have this car running by early next week? Probably, huh?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, probably. We'll probably have this thing running. So the harness on this end of it was actually all identical. So for the non-M versus M, the difference is on this side, there's actually another additional heater valve. This controls the valve that flows coolant to your HVAC, which allows you to have a heater. I actually didn't have this connector from factory, and then it didn't have this connector for the fuel pressure sensor, which we could have just extended to plug into here and still read it out through the DME, and then we probably could have just pinned this out. But it's, again, it's just better for us to have all of these things that are just factory. Fuel lines are different. Evap hose is different because of the side. Since this is a V8, it has an X pipe, so the X pipe actually sits right against where the OEM fuel line and evap hose would have gone. So we had to drop the fuel tank, swap that over too. There's a lot of stuff. It's gonna be really nice. It's gonna be very OEM. Anthony's gonna be working on the back of this car because he likes rear-ending stuff. He likes going from behind. So Kennedy's gonna grab the HVAC right now and we're gonna throw inside the car, and after we get this dashboard area back together, it's gonna look like it's almost done. So HVAC goes in, we'll get the bar back in, and then after that, dashboard and carpets back in. And trust me, it looks like there's a lot left to do, but it's actually not that much. So HVAC's back in, pretty simple. Now we're gonna get this bar that Jamie's gonna help us with, and then we're gonna place it back on. And yeah, honestly, hey, after this is pretty much dashboard. Yeah. All right, so we got the HVAC bars all back in. Now we're throwing the carpet back in. Front side's on. Now we're gonna throw on the rear carpet, right, Anthony? Yeah. And
slap it in just like so.
Yeah, and we'll be done. We'll be done. Done. Look at that. Done. Carpet's on the front is back in. Carpet in the rear is back in. So it's looking almost complete. We're pretty much about to get the dashboard back in now. Dash time. Can you grab that? Thank you.
Just like that.
Just like that. We're done. So now the dashboard's pretty much back in. We gotta bolt it down, slide it on, route the harnesses. Anthony's back here taking a nap, doing nothing. So Anthony's wiring up the back side of this car, and then we had to run some wires above and then all around, and then Kennedy and I are finishing up here. We got the dash all back together, kind of, it's not bolted. We started routing all the wires, making sure that they all go to place, making sure that these are good, and then now we're going to bolt down the dash once we know that all the wires are routed correctly in the proper position with the proper length, to make sure that we can actually plug things in. We're almost there. Let's go. All right, so we pretty much have the dashboard all back together. I can't put the center console on until we change out the fuel tank, because we got to remove the e-brake cable, which is here. So we're not going to touch this yet. Put this in. We got to get the CIC in, and then once we get that in, then I get the upper vent on, and then the dashboard is pretty much all done. So we got everything connected into this car now. This is actually my key out of my M3, and because we swapped all the modules over from my M3 into this car, it should work with this key. So let's find out. Power's on. Everything works. Navigation works. Cluster works. Shows mileage. Sick. Now we're just gonna finish wiring it all up, and then we gotta do the fuel tank after. After we get the fuel tank in, run the fuel line, we should be able to turn the car after that. When I say turn on, I'm not saying, you know, drivable. We're just gonna crank it over, get it running a little bit, make sure it turns on, and then after it turns on, then we'll start reassembling everything else. But the good news is everything's functioning. All right, so Anthony is now done with the wiring to the taillight, the switch, the door lock actuator, the trunk lock switch, license plate light, pretty much everything back here as well. So I think at this point we're now going to reassemble back here. We still had to wire up the two lights back. Hey, well, you didn't see, but I plugged it in. The lights all kicked on.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
So everything works?
Yeah. So all that works. The only thing is the sunroof I can't close it right now, but maybe it's just too low in battery,
Yeah.
but we'll figure it out.
Yeah, that draws down the front.
Yeah. So everything on the front end is done. We got the carbon trim back in, radios back in, the instrument clusters back in, the CIDs back in. Honestly, there's nothing left here. We just got to reassemble everything on the bottom end. And then the M3 door panels are in, plus my carbon interior honeycomb trim's already in too. It's been a long day. It's been a long, exhausting day. Trying to figure out a lot of stuff too.
Real fucking old.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff on this car that we try to make compatible in terms of the E90 versus the E91. Since the E90 didn't have a lot of these features, plus the E90 has the glass right here, and then the E91 has the freaking glass all the way, like, way back there. So yeah, I think we're pretty much done for today. We'll continue probably on Monday. Today is Friday. Actually no, Monday we're closed. It's July 4th.
Monday, Tuesday.
Yeah. So Tuesday we're gonna get running. I don't know when I'm gonna upload this, but when you guys actually see this, you guys probably will see on my story that the car is already up and running. But when we come back from our holiday trip, we're gonna get this thing up and running. And I say up and running again, it's not driving. I think probably by Wednesday we'll have it driving and moving. Maybe even Tuesday. But that's pretty much it, guys. Peace.